So this is Stranded Deep. Came out on early access a couple weeks ago, and I've put a little time into it. I'm going to show you how to get started in the game, and I figured that while I was doing that, I'd tell you a little bit how I feel about early access games in general, because this is an early access game. But first, we've been stranded on a desert island, and we need to survive. So we're going to craft some tools, and I would recommend crafting an axe first. To do this, we'll need sticks and rocks and lashings. Sticks and rocks are on the ground usually, and lashings come from cutting these plants that are on the island. Usually, it should be on your island. I think it's randomly generated. As I've said, I'm primarily a console gamer, so I don't play on the strongest rig when it comes to PC games. I'm actually playing this on a notebook, and can usually get around 30 frames or so per second. But Fraps does cut the FPS pretty significantly, so this is the lowest graphics settings you're seeing here. And the game is still pretty no matter what graphics you're playing on. The crafting system in this game is different from any other crafting system that I've actually seen. You basically gather all the materials you need and drag everything into a pile. And then once you have everything together, all your materials will highlight orange. And when you click, you'll get a menu telling you what you can make. And I'm going to cut down some trees and gather materials for my shelter. And while I'm doing that, I want to talk about early access games. This game is, of course, early access, and it's probably one of the more stable early access games I've played, and I've put time into games like DayZ and Rust and The Forest, and I think DayZ, the standalone, was the game that kind of gave early access its bad name. It came out a couple years ago, and it was extremely anticipated because the mod was so damn popular, and people really wanted the standalone. And the developers did say it would be extremely buggy, but people still went up in rants about it, about how the developers robbed them and all this, and I just think it should have been. I don't think it should have been released at all, honestly, in the state that it was, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. The price it was for was, I think it was $30. Which is way too much. I mean, for an early access game, for kind of what a broken game, basically. And if you give the internet a broken game, they'll always see that game as broken. DayZ, it was hugely anticipated. The mod was successful, and people played that I think it came out in 2012 or so, maybe 2011. It rose to popularity, I think just the early access thing, it just gave it a horrible first impression. I don't know anyone that still plays it, and I haven't heard anything about it on the internet. The last thing I heard was that they were doing a console port. I think, if you're going to release a game on early access, the price to take part should be reasonable. Even if the price to get in was, into the alpha was say like $5, and then after playing the game, testing it, which is apparently what early access is for, you can choose to, if you choose to, buy the full game, that $5 will be knocked off the full price, and you're not tied down to anything. And then, like I said with DayZ, they just announced that they were going to port it to PlayStation 4 not too long ago, and just finish the game. I think they should just finish the game on the platform it's on, and then worry about console ports later on. I think the development team for DayZ is just very overly excited, which is good to have in developers. I think they're just excited to get their game out, and they want to do all this stuff, but I think they need to press the brakes a little bit and focus on what they're going to do with the game. Alright, now that we've gathered all our materials, I'm going to show you how to build your shelter here. You're going to need a foundation, steps, 3 walls, a roof, and you can build a campfire too, which is easy. You just need 5 sticks. The crafting, when you're making buildings, is a little different from tool crafting. You'll still want to take all your stuff and gather it together, all your materials, and you'll need a hammer. And when you're holding a hammer, instead of your materials glowing orange like they would when you're crafting tools, they'll glow blue. And then same thing, you click and it'll tell you what you can build. And then you can place it. So here is my shelter and my campfire here. I've cleared off most of this island actually building this shelter, which you probably will do after you've kind of gathered everything and chopped down a bunch of trees. So I'm going now to hop into my my raft from the airplane crash, and I'm going to sail to one of the other islands that across the way here, across the ocean. But anyway, Stranded Deep is on early access right now. I think it's only $15. I wouldn't group it with other early access games because this one is one of the more stable ones I've played. It is fun. It kind of makes you feel like you're actually on a desert island. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely should check it out if you haven't, and I will see you next time.